Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's still myself, Adefemi Great. And yeah, it's been a while since I released the video, so this is owing to me engaging myself in a lot of tasks. So this took quite a lot of my time that I wasn't opportune to actually release any more videos. But I think I've done those tasks up to a level. I think I can actually do some other stuff, and as a result of that, I'm back. And I'm not actually completely back, but I think for the moment I'll be able to do one or two videos here and there, and just to make sure that everyone is still active, and yeah, we are keeping the channel up and going. And yeah, I want to also use this opportunity to say thank you. I think I left the channel as at 600, but it's 800 already, and it's growing. So we're almost there. We're almost at the 1000 mark. I think we can actually do it. Alright, so that's it. I'm back, and I think today I have something to share. And yeah, let's roll in our intro. Alright. Alright, so let's kick things off. So I think in one of my videos like that, particularly this automate Google form. So yeah, the whole aim was to show us how we could use Selenium to automate our Google form. However, at the end of the day, I saw that we actually requested for some other information. So this guy requested that we have a sequence of radio buttons that we can toggle and actually automate. Then there is one for drop down, and so more or less just the complicated stuffs not really complicated if you ask me, but a little bit tricky in the Google form. So yeah, I think that's where we should start with, and yeah, I've set up a form that probably will just analyze through this. And yeah, here is the form. So it's literally just a random question just to showcase all those requests. So we have a couple of radio buttons here, then another, then we have date. So I think there is a request for date as well. Then we have the drop down and so on, and then we have time. So let me just show us how this will look. So this is me setting it up. So let's show how it's going to look. So let me get the link. Alright, so I'm loading up the form itself now so that we get an idea. So here is the form. So Nigeria is located in what continent? So just basic questions, but the whole idea is to show us how we can make use of a couple of radio buttons. So in this case, it's not just a radio button, but we have two sets. Then we have the dates. Then we have two sets of drop down. Then we have a time. Okay, so this is just the scope. Alright, so I have things set up already just like we did, so let me just quickly bring that up. Alright, so here is just a similar file to what we've used before, so from the other video. So I'm not really going to be starting afresh, so if you need to see how things actually got started, you can check that video. I'll put the link in the description. But yeah, so we are literally continuing from where we left off, and we are trying to explore more complex situations. So again, we have our data. So I've adjusted the data a little bit. So let me quickly explain the data, then we'll go into the code, then we explain things. I don't think we should take more time. So here we have indices. So this is going to be index, unlike the name. So if we go back to the form, so we are going to more like target all these radio buttons with their index. Okay, so this is going to be index 0, 1, 2 until right like that. Okay, so that is exactly what we have here. So for the first one, I'm targeting the index 1, that should be Africa. That's where Nigeria is. Then for the second one, that's index 2, and that should be Rust. So I would also put some other possible answers. Then for the date, so the date starts with the month, then the day, then the year. So it's just that simple. So you have the month followed by the, so one thing I've actually experienced while experimenting with this is that you can actually decide to use any divider and it's going to work. So you can use dash, it's going to work, and if you like, you can actually not use any divider and it will still work. Okay, but just to make it easy to read, so it's formatted as a date. Then next one is Nigeria. Let's see what that is answering. Alright, so we are going to choose Nigeria from this list. So choose your favorite country. I don't know, that's just a random answer. I don't know if Nigeria is my favorite country, but I live in Nigeria, by the way. Okay, so I think I talk a little more now just to get into the mood. Alright, so moving on. Then we have front end. Yeah, so select your development stack. So that's choosing front end. Then finally we have the time. So the time is going to be formatted as hours and minutes. Okay, so we are not actually going to input this like this. We are going to do some adjustment, but let's get into that later on. So back to the form. Like I said, if you need more information about how we got to this point, I suggest you check the first video so that you get things done. Alright, so yeah, we've emptied the fill form function, and in this case we are sending the parameters. So we have answer 1, answer 2, the date, the option 1, option 2, and the time data, right? So just like we got it from the other one the other time. Alright, so let's see how things goes this time around. So I've done this before. I'm just going to walk us through. I'm not starting to code from head. So yeah, so I have a couple of predefined variable. So let me just copy that and paste here. So we'll just go through it. Alright, so question 1 option. So the idea here is I'm trying to target question 1 and I'm getting the options. I'll do the same thing for question 2 as well, and so on. So that's what I've defined here. So we have the question 1 options, we have the question 2 options, the question 3 input. So that's an input and not a question. Then we have the question 4 select, question 5 select, then the question 6 inputs. Yeah, so that's the variable definition. So the next thing is actually to find a relation such that we have access to all the possible inputs. Okay, so this is not done by just thinking, it's something you have to investigate. So if we try to inspect this and we go into our code, so let me try and zoom this a little. I don't know if I will be able to, but let's try. Alright, so that worked. Okay, so I'm just trying to collapse things so that we can get for each questions. Okay, so I'm taking this as the questions. Alright, so here are those. So these are the questions, as you can see. So we have the first one, the second one, the third one, and the relationship now is this. So this is the class that is acting as the relationship. So what I'm actually saying in essence is that that's the class we need to work with. So again, I'll just copy and paste what we have for this. So now question groups, like that's the relationship. So driver, we have our driver already. Find elements by class name. So we are getting elements. So we are trying to get all the question groups, which are this. Okay, so again, the class name is the relationship between them. So this one. So with this now, we should have access to all the question groups. So a count of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's 6 of them. We should have access to it. So the next thing we want to do now is we want to have access to each questions. So let's explore that. So I will take it one after the other. So just to make sure you are writing a good code, so we can check if question groups actually exist, because we want to find information within that. Okay, so yeah, we are checking if question group exists, and if that exists, we want to get the option, so the radio options for question 1. So that's what we are interested in. Alright, so question 1 options. So literally we are saying question 1 should be the index 0 of these question groups. Okay, this is just like a hard-coded content on an absorption. So if you are trying to automate something, you should probably know so much about what you want to automate. That's just what this is talking about. Then also we find elements. So literally we are going to have class name. So the reason why I'm looking for these class names under the first question group is the class name is also going to be the same with what we have for the second group, okay? But checking it under the question 1 group makes us limited to just this group, okay? So if we explore this, so the radio input, yeah, we're actually looking for an input key. Yeah, I think this is clickable. So if I go ahead, so this is actually what we got. So this particular one, app materials with toggle. So that's just the idea around it. So this is literally not like the only way to do it. I'm sure you could probably pick other class that is clickable, that is interactable, and find your relationship and actually use them. But this is the one I'm using here, and if I go back to my code, that's the one I'm clicking here. So with this now, I should have access to all of the radio buttons. So now they are sorted by their index, so indices, so literally what we got from our inputs. So based on that, we can now say, so let's just copy this again. Alright, so if question 1 option, so now if we are able to get input for this, then we want to just click on the first one. So question 1 options into, so here we are going to get strings, okay? But take note, we are dealing with indices here. So let me just save this. So we are dealing with indices here. So it's going to be an integer. It's not going to be a string. So we are converting that to an integer. So this is going to probably get whichever integer we've passed. So if it's 2, then we got 2. So that should be here. Then we are clicking it, okay? So that's the idea around it. So I've tested this, it works. So I'm just trying to walk us through. So there's really no need to try and check if it's working or something like that. Alright, so let's move on to the next one, and that's the option 2. So it's the same thing as the option 1. So just copy and paste. Alright, so again we do the same thing. So let's just copy and paste this. So we switch this, and this should be answer 2. And yeah, that's just it for the radio button. I think this should handle radio button scenarios if we come across them. Okay, so the next one is the date input. So that's quite actually straightforward. So if let's just copy and paste this, and let me quickly run us through it. So if we go back to investigate our form, we realize our date input is just 1. Okay, so all we just need to find is what class is matching this particular element, and I've done that already. So I was able to trace that to this. So this is the class that matched the element, and again there is possibility we have other inputs, probably the time, but again we are limiting that to this particular question group. So it's not going to reach here, it's only going to get from here. Okay, so that's why we got the option groups of index 2, then we get the inputs we need. And like I said, that is quite straightforward. All we just have to do is check that we are able to get something, then send in the date. So take note, we are not using elements here because it's just 1, we don't need multiple. So the idea around using elements and element is that there's possibility we have multiple of this, but element we only just get the first one is able to find, and that will be end. Okay, so we've been able to also undo the dates, and that should actually fix it for us. So now we are getting to the territory where it's a bit difficult. So yeah, I actually encountered a lot of difficulty here. but in the end I think I was able to get my hands on something. I don't know if it's the best way, but it worked for me, and I think we can check it out and see how it goes. So literally we are trying to click on the drop down. So initially I thought I could just find whatever key whatever option I want to click is and just click it, but that didn't work. So the idea is I have to actually click this, then find the key, then click it, more like the real action itself. So that's what I did. So let me quickly run us through. So again, we were able to get the information. So the information, or more or less the element we are trying to look for here, is this, and we're able to get that using this particular class. And again, it's element, so it's just one of the elements. And yeah, let me just quickly show us what we did here. All right, so if we are able to get, okay, this is for 4, let me use 5. All right, so this is for 4. So if question 4 was obtained, then we want to click it. So this will allow us click this. Then once we are done with that, we want to wait for a little time, because as you can see, this doesn't come up immediately. There is like a delay in its effect. So we have to wait for a little time for it to come up. So that's why we are waiting for this 0.5 seconds. Then once we are done with that, there is this span. So if I try to inspect this, so you can see this span. So the span is within whatever we've gotten here. And here is it. So that span contains the information about each option, as you can see. So this contains Belgium. If we go back to it and inspect this, we should get another span. Okay, I didn't get that. Yeah, so we should get another span that contains Nigeria. So that's literally what I did. So like I said, I have actually encountered a lot of difficulty doing this. So yeah, it was then I realized I could use SPAT, and it's actually quite simple. So if you are dealing with a tag, you just have to follow / it, then select the span. Then if it contains the option you are dealing with, so it has to match this particular flow, this rule. So the option is what we've sent, option 1. So if what is contained within that span is option 1, then that's the span we want to deal with. So another thing is you can't actually click the span directly. So for some reason you have to loop through it, then click it. I don't know why that is. Okay, I got elements, but that's just by the way. Thinking about it now, I actually didn't try it. Maybe if I actually find elements just by SPAT, maybe that will work. Yeah, I'll probably do that after we are done with everything and actually have tested that is working. But let me just show us this first. Then the same thing for the next one. That's quite easy now that we have a sample. Alright, so again, just check. Alright, so there is another thing I introduced here. So I introduced a delay so that you can actually hold on to click. And the reason is that the reason why I'm introducing the delay here and not here is because this is actually going to delay before doing any input, okay? But for the last one, it was sending keys, so it was more like instant. So as a result of that, if I did not add this delay, whatever you might have selected here will not save, okay? So I'll probably show that as an example when we are testing as well. So then finally the last one, let me just copy that as well. So I think by now we should have an idea of how we are getting this class. So if you take a look at this, you'll find out that it's the same thing as the one we have for question theory. So they are both input, like I said. But I didn't care for this time one because I was constrained to the question group of index 2, okay? But now I'm accessing question group of index 5 and I'm getting the inputs. So it's 2 inputs, so we have the first one and the second one, okay? So for this I'm using the get elements. Alright, so here again we check if we are able to get the question 6 inputs. Okay, so here is it. So then finally we are trying to split the time new and the time data. So here we are sending this as the data, but we can't fill in the data. We have to split it. So the first part is going to be the hour and the second part is going to be the minute. So that's what we've done here. So yeah, I'm just trying to show us. I'm not teaching us how to do all this stuff. We're programmers, right? Yeah. So that's how it's going to work. Then finally we can just copy the last part, which is to submit from. We can just get this from the last episode. This actually is still the same thing. So this is going to submit our form and also check if we want to take another response or so. And that should be it. So that's it literally. I know it's just a copy and paste. Some people will come up to complain about that. But like I said, it's really not a teaching. It's more of showing us how we can do it. Alright, so let's test this actually to see that it works. So Python, then fill form. Alright, so that's filled up. As we can see, everything works well. Okay, so for some reason it looks like our counting here is wrong. Okay, maybe we have an extra line. Yeah, that's the reason. So we have an extra line that didn't really do anything, and that's why we got the list out of index. So if we try it again now, we should fill it and it should actually close up. Let's see. So yeah, so that worked well now because we don't have any issue with the index again. Alright, so that's literally it. So let's check our form to see our responses. So we actually have sent 2. Yeah, I've sent some already just to test this. I think I've removed them since. Alright, so we've sent 2 as we can see, and yeah, we have them just like we've sent it. Alright, so there is one more experiment I wanted to check. So let's see. So let's see if we actually use elements, and let's see if we can click on the span directly. I find out that I couldn't click directly until I did it like this. I don't know if it was because of me using elements and not elements. Okay, so let's test it again. Alright, so yeah, there was an actual issue, and that's why I didn't use it like that. So let me revert back to the normal way, and that should be it. So I'm thinking there's probably no find element by expert. I don't know. I'll probably share that later on. So we can add some more. So let me just duplicate this. So let's say we want to change this to 0, and this one to 3. Then this one to, let's say, 11, 5, or 22, then 2002, whatever. This one maybe backend. I think we have for backend. Yeah, so let's just explore this. So let's see it automates all this. Okay, the first one done. The second one, and we are done. So yeah, so there we have it. If we have any other questions, we can easily share it in the discussion, and yeah, we can try to resolve it if we can. And if we can't, then we'll probably find experts to help us resolve it. So thanks everyone. Like I said, I'm back, and hopefully I'll be able to do so much in this period. Thanks, and see you soon.